Welcome to a J400 training, section 3. In this part of the training we will see the mapping section. This is the main map of the ECU. Here you can see RPM and here you can see petrol injection times. Okay, the values you see here in the map means the amount of gas we use for injection, and it's referred by RPM and petrol injection times. We calculate this map during the auto calibration, and you can change it later if you need to make some adjustment. The auto calibration not cover all the times and all the section of the map because it's made on idle, so we haven't all the information about how the vehicle is running in all the condition. But these maps are calculated from a series of tests that we made, so usually are quite near to the optimal map, but not every times. So sometimes you need to make a little bit of adjust. So to change the values of the map you have different ways. You can select parts that you need to change and increase the values, and as you increase the values you increase the amount of gas that you give in the region you have selected. Or for example, you can select another region, and with the enter key you can add or subtract the amount of points you want. For example, 20 points. Selecting here linear, we will add 20 points to the selected zone. Okay, as you see, this region now is a different color because it has more higher values. Okay, you can undo the last modify with this button, so we return to before our last modifying. And obviously if you need to make little adjustment you can select the part of map you want, even the whole map, and using plus button and minus button. Okay, or for example maybe you want to have the same values in a section, for example like this. Maybe we can set absolute value, and so we can put, for example, 70. Okay, and now you see that the whole region here had the same value. Okay, so we came back to the first one. Okay, so there is a way to reset the map to default values. These are default values from before making an auto calibration. So if you reset the map you will lose the auto calibration you have done before. Another thing that we can see here are these bars. Red bar, it will be always here in 0.1 point, because it's how is changing time injection, because it's not always at the same value you see here. And the green bar is the one that tells you how much we are far from the petrol injection. I mean, for example, now I will switch to gas. Now we are on petrol, as you see here, and we have no injection timing of gas. Here you see that we are on petrol, and on the switch we are on petrol. So clicking here or pushing the switch on the car will get you on gas. Okay, as you see, the cursor here has been colored differently. You see that it's green, so it means that we are on gas. This is a quite good calibration because we have a little bit difference from the petrol. So you see 5 points, 0 point, and so on. So we are very near to petrol injection time in this area, because we are on idle in this moment. So, but if we want, we can change the values of the map, so we can see how the petrol time injection is changing. For example, I will add 20 points to the whole map. Okay, so now you see that we are far from the point of before. Time injection on petrol is lowering because we are too rich, because higher number means richer mixture and lower number means lean mixture. Okay, so we get back to our first map that was tuned in the right way. So you see, here we are, and this is a good calibration. When you have values below, I think 5 or maybe even 10 points on idle, you are not so far from the right calibration, so you can leave the numbers as it is. But if you have more difference, I mean, for example 20 points, you should change this map. And we now will skip map adaptivity and OBD adaptivity. We'll see them later. We can take a look to gas and petrol section. Here we can select to making some parts of gas running forced to be on petrol. For example, on idle, there are some cars that got some problem on idle with, for example, on CNG cars, and when we release on idle, we can have some problem, and sometimes engines turns off. So we can choose, for example, return only, and this kind of procedure will take us to have a little time of petrol injection while we are returning on idle. Now I make an example. So now we are on gas. Okay, so I will get high RPM, for example 2000, and I will release the accelerator. Okay, now you see that this LED will blink for a moment. It takes a short time, I think about a second, for example. Okay, you see. So in this case, for this time that you see that the LED lights on, then the engine will turn to petrol, and there is even the possibility to make petrol steady. So in this case we will have always petrol on idle. So as you see here, we are on petrol because the LED is light on. Here we have petrol, as you see, but when I get over this threshold, okay, LED turns off and we are on gas. Okay, and when we get down from this threshold, we will return to petrol. Some car got some problem about stability on idle, and so we need to make this kind of adjustment. You can select obviously at what RPM making this function working. Okay, we'll back to gas. Yeah, we have the same management on power. So here we have two kinds of selection. We have a simply petrol selection. We can make working range that we want. We will leave this for this example. But we have even injection time that is needed for switching on petrol. For example, on idle, I can get over to 2000 RPM, but I will not switch to petrol. As you see, the LED is still off, and here we are on gas, because we can choose the amount of time injection of petrol that we need to switch on petrol. This is needed for cars, for example, that need more power at higher RPM, very powerful car, and there are some conditions that we can't give enough gas, enough LPG or enough CNG for making the car working in the right way, so we switch to petrol for security reason or even for having more power. And for the same reason, I will make you see, as we done before, we can make, for example, 4 milliseconds. Now we will try on idle to get. Okay, I will get some tests. As you see here, lights turns on. We can get on petrol. Okay, because we have a time injection of petrol that is above 4 milliseconds. Okay. In the same way, we have a petrol contribution. It works almost in the similar way. There are the same parameters, so we have RPM range and injection time that is needed for petrol contribution. In this case, we have mixture that is composed by petrol and gas. So in this case, we have a little amount of petrols that can helps the CNG, for example, to burn correctly. And the amount of petrol is very small amount. We should use 1 millisecond, 1.5, maximum 2 milliseconds is used. It's very useful for CNG cars when getting out of idle. It gets some more power because CNG burns first, so sometimes you need no timing advanced processor and things like this. The main thing about petrol contribution is that you need to check it on the road. So you have to check if it's working good, because not in all cars we have the same response from the engine and from the petrol ECU. And we have the firing order of the engine. It's detected during the auto calibration. In this case, we have a sequential type of engine. It could be full group or half group, and now the software is saying to us that we are phased with the firing order. And here we have another indication about a petrol switch at high RPM. This is a security functionality that it activates when we have too large gas injection times, so for security reason we switch on petrol. You will see here the LED turns on when you are at very high RPM, for example 5,000 or 6,000, and you are requesting very high power to the engine. Here we can see if the compensations are enabled. So we have three kinds of compensation: reducer for water, and gas temperature that we detect on the injectors, and the gas pressure compensation. So that is needed when maybe we are on low pressure gas or there are some changes in the reducer. And we have an extra injection filter. It is used for filtering extra injection, and there are sometimes some cars make small injections, and maybe if on petrol there are no problem about this, with gas you can have some troubles while driving the car. So you can filter this extra injection, but we will see in a separate section how to make this, because it's not so easy to detect if you need extra injection or not. Here we have a functionality that can make a richer or leaner mixture in transit state, in acceleration mainly. Okay, so you can choose, for example, to having 10% or 30 is too much, but 20 or 10% of increase on acceleration, and this is could be useful for cars that are a little bit leaner during the accelerations, or maybe you can have a decrease of gas, mainly in CNG systems, because CNG in acceleration could bring to a richer mixture and the car lose power. So to having a leaner mixture and to have a little bit more power while accelerating, you can decrease here, I think about 10%. However, you have to see on the car itself, and you will have a better performances.